¿Qué pasa, amigos? My name is Ash, and today I want to talk about 5 brilliantly nostalgic games that I believe we need to have remastered. The tricky part about choosing each game I'd love to see recreated is the fine line that many of these games walk. While looking back in time, I realized that there is an odd dynamic in the world of game remastering. Certain games are perfect candidates for the remaster makeover, and yet other games haven't quite reached that stage yet, while certain classic titles should never be remastered or recreated in any way. And maybe that last opinion is subjective and personal to each individual, as each player may want their respective games to remain as is. But for me, games that I believe should never and will never be remastered are titles like BioShock, Grand Theft Auto 3, Fallout 3, and so on. Games like this just have a certain something that begs for them to remain as they are. They feel like nostalgic time capsules that would only be tainted if altered in any way. And maybe you'll feel that way about some of the games I would love to see remastered, but that's the beauty of the gaming world. It's diverse, fascinating, and unique to each player. So be sure to let me know how you feel about my list, what games you'd like to see remastered, or what games you believe should never be altered down in the comments below. And I shit you not, one of the games on my list was Mass Effect 2, and just a day before I recorded this video, it's been uncovered that the entire Mass Effect trilogy will be remastered, with an official announcement coming sometime in October. But with that, let's just jump into the 5 games I would love to see reconstructed for the next-gen consoles and PC. The very first game on my list, and the title I want to see remastered more than any other game on this countdown, is Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. And if you missed out on last week's video, I did a top 10 greatest games of all time list, with Oblivion sitting at number 5 overall. And if you'd like to check out the rest of my top 10 list and the first episode in my brand new video series called Brutally Biased, I'll have it linked in the top right corner as well as down in the description. But anyway, moving on, I feel that Oblivion makes the perfect remaster candidate because it was a massively popular game that had amazing core gameplay mechanics, a world filled with fun and unique quests, guilds, and encounters, coupled with a perfectly told story. And the fine line a potential remastered game must walk is one that has those very traits, but will also lend itself well to updated graphics, physics, and more. And in my opinion, Oblivion embodies all of these traits far better than any other game. Releasing all the way back in 2006, the game's aesthetic doesn't quite live up to today's standards. However, a well-done overhaul will thrust this nostalgic masterpiece back into the hearts of this generation of gamers. Moving on to our next potential candidate, we have the ever-popular Team Fortress 2. The 2007 first-person shooter lives on to this day as somewhat of a cult classic. Packaged within the famous Orange Box game bundle, Team Fortress 2 formed a massive and adoring audience alongside its Half-Life counterpart. The class-based team battle title still holds its own to this day, with solid core mechanics, interesting playable characters, and their abilities wrapped up in a crazy fun experience. While a game like Oblivion would be served well with a moderate graphical and mechanical boost, I would love to see Team Fortress 2 fully rebuilt. If Valve or a licensed developer went all out, giving the game brand new 4K graphics with ray tracing and building familiar but improved graphics, the game would absolutely blow up yet again. However, it took Valve 15 years to make a Half-Life sequel, so unfortunately, I don't see a project like this happening anytime soon, if at all. But we can dream, right? Anyway, moving on to the next title the gaming world needs to be remastered, we have a game that's actually been remastered already. But the problem is the beloved developer only remastered half of the game. In fact, according to the fans, it was the wrong half of the game. The Modern Warfare 2 Remastered campaign dropped just a few months back, but ever since the project was announced, fans of the series have been calling, or better yet, screaming for a multiplayer release. While it seemed like the Call of Duty franchise was headed in that direction, with a remastered version of the complete COD 4 Modern Warfare title, as well as the MW2 campaign, it feels as though Activision isn't very interested in continuing the trend. And honestly, Modern Warfare 2 is a primed candidate for the makeover treatment, due to the hordes of nostalgia surrounding the game, as well as the groundbreaking mechanics like the killstreak system, paired with the heavily upgraded perk, weapon, and customization features. Millions of players around the world would eagerly purchase a Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer game, and if Infinity Ward went and remastered the game by adding revamped graphics and physics to the experience, it would just make it that much better and that much more popular. And now we move on to yet another game that has actually been remastered once before. Pokemon Silver and Gold released way back in 1999, with the updated versions known as Heart Gold and Soul Silver dropping a decade later in 2009. As we are now just beyond a decade past the initial remastering of these classic titles, I think it's about time we go for the three-peat. And the good news here is I definitely see this happening in the next year or two, as Pokemon Red and Blue have already been remastered 3 times, with the latest installment coming back in 2018 with the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee titles, both of which prove the games played very well with the Nintendo Switch console, the game style transferred very well to the newly rendered world, and most importantly, held their colossal popularity. With the last major DLC pack dropping for the latest generation of Pokemon named Sword and Shield coming this winter, the Pokemon Company will have a significant gap in between production of Gen 8 and the future Gen 9 titles, leading many to speculate that they will use this time to develop and produce a Gen 2 remaster, possibly named Let's Go Johto. It's hard to say exactly if and when the game would potentially launch, as the Pokemon series is one of the most widely developed and branched out series we've ever had. However, this fact also plays into the favor of the fans, as I'd be shocked if the Pokemon Company were to pass up on this huge opportunity. And finally, we have our last game on the list, and to be honest, this selection might be just for me, but holy crap would I love a Nuclear Strike remaster. And for those who don't know, it's an old school helicopter combat game from 1997 that I was absolutely addicted to back in the day. Luckily for me, it was published and developed by EA, so maybe there's a chance of this happening, but if I'm being realistic, it will never actually happen. But yeah, just a last minute obscure game I'd love to see rebuilt with next gen capabilities, and if and when this happens, just know that I will be the most excited person you know, and I will certainly be covering that landmark announcement. Anyway, that will do it for this video. Make sure you hit like, click or tap that subscribe button to become the heart of this gaming channel, and be a part of the conversation in the comments below by telling me how you feel about any and all of the games on this list, and which titles you'd love to see get remastered. And for more gaming analysis, news, reviews, and opinions, stay here on Ash Heart. And as always, thanks for watching.